Overseas to make nuclear weapons. It's going over to Korea. We've got India and Pakistan. It goes on the black market. The French use it. Mirrar. It's used in England. The Trident subs there. Arresting the wrong people.
This is my second trip. I broke down the first time too.
They don't think of the long term. It's their security, their superannuation, their pension, their accolades, their achievement in life. I think people have forgotten the long term. You know, everybody's so busy.
One of the lost people who took a stand where you can't eat money, but we can eat you. With the harder you push, the more we're gonna do. Yeah, the harder you push.
We're the last generation who has the decision, who has a chance to affect the decisions about the future. You know, I think biodiversity is what will keep this planet alive as a living organism. I mean, let's face it, it's no one agrees with it. Oh, well, I don't know anyone that, you know, is for uranium mining and nuclear power. That's what it boils down to, doesn't it? It leads to weapons and so on. It's dangerous and stuff.
Mum, would you like to have a snack? Oh, ready? Thanks, no. Yeah, you don't like the sprouts. No, they're good for me. My son was planning to go to Jabiluka and unfortunately he fell off a cliff near his home. So for the 2 weeks of his leave, we thought he was up here in Jabiluka. So for me, it's doing what he was set out to do and what I thought he was doing. My mother's joining me in this and sort of doing it for him and also doing it for myself. It's a sort of going to be a spiritual journey. I just have this real need to go out.
To the garbage.
Go, Connor.
Lucky day, Connor.
Where's the gravy?
Why are you going up to Jabiluka?
I just think that if you're going to set aside places like national parks, people really should, you know, reserve them for that sort of activity, you know, not mining or any other, you know, industry. And we've sort of got to look after our heritage areas.
When they see something like a Kakadu National Park, they don't see the beauty of it. They see dollar signs, you know.
No one's listening to us, you know. No one, politicians, they don't care, you know.
It was a drama. It was an old white lady.
And I said to myself, this is the business we've chosen. I didn't ask who gave the order, because it had nothing to do with business.
We just want to know why you wanted to come to Jabiluka.
Oh, it was an excuse to get some biscuits and a couple of hamburgers.
Hey, who's driving?
I am. Silly question. It's automatic.
It's more of a thing that sort of has to be done, I think, you know. It's this business of, you know, mining uranium in a national park's bullshit, you know. It's just not on.
About 300 k's from Pine Creek. That's according to this map, it is.
No.
The daily waters, each square is 50 k's.
Just what I'm driving.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 400 kilometres. Are you happy with 4?
We're now entering the police state of the Northern Territory, and we're bringing in more prisoners for the Darwin jails. We've got the Feral Express.
The FX.
The FX.
Can't eat money, but you can probably buy.
walking a bit different. That's goanna directly in front, or what they call a galawan. That's the name for a type of goanna. And you see the hand stencil down there, or the painting of a hand. You'll see hands that have just got stencils blown, just of the actual hand, and then you'll see the arm. There are various types of fish, barramundi, mullet, bream. You'll see down there in front of that gentleman, there's a shotgun or a rifle. So this is a goanna, this one here, a hand stencil, a boat. These are the poisonous barbs which come off it, and they're good eating. This might be a long tom. Long tom. Yeah, long tom. There's a crocodile around here. Right there it is. It's a little head, eh?
Well, we're on land that is Mirrar land, but we're on the lease, and because we're on the lease we can be arrested. Because we're on the lease, Mirrar can be arrested. And that's the way that the legal system, in terms of approving the development's been constituted here. And when you're looking at some of these cultural sites and seeing some of this rock art, I think you just recognise that there's been a continuous culture of people coming across this country and living on this country for a considerable period of time. And because past governments have permitted the execution of leases here to allow uranium to be mined in this ground, Aboriginal people can't come back onto their own country, and it's a pretty unsatisfactory state of affairs.
The blockade has been extremely important. The blockade has bolstered the resolve of the Mirrar people and given them great confidence that they are not alone. For a start, the type of benefits the mining company is talking about is another version of assimilation for Aboriginal people, and it's assimilation by industry, which is highly questionable. There's already pressure been applied from governments historically over the last 200 years for Aboriginal people to accommodate a Western system of education, for Aboriginal people to accommodate a Western system of living. And Aboriginal people have resisted that and actively resisted that. And one of the most fundamental parts of this campaign for the Mirrar is the fact that their relationship with their land and all the values and beliefs that underpin that give them the right to say no, is being challenged by this development. And money is not going to change anything for this community. They are the same promises that are sold with every mining agreement to every Aboriginal community. Now, this Aboriginal community has seen those promises, and they've seen those promises broken. They're not prepared to believe that a company is going to deliver, or a government is going to deliver on those promises.
We got the sacred place up there. That's why we didn't like it. My father used to tell me, you know, very sacred place up there. You know, we got a snake dream, you know, King Brown. You can see the painting up there. You know, very old, nearly 1,000 years ago, but they're nearly worn out. You know. That's why we don't let anybody go in up there. Snake might come up and then they, you know, big man, or what they call it. The story, you know, he might go all over him, might kill all, you know, all over the world. That's why all the Aboriginal me, you know, reckon, everyone. Not me, but everyone, you know, from down valley, all over the place. We did that story, you know, something go wrong with, now, well, mine going to go ahead. Well, you might get a big rain or something cyclone or something. That's what we reckon.
Catch him, run! Tackle him. Hold it! Ah, come on, Matthew. You can't afford to push them. Clear! Cái quân vợt nào cái gì?
Yeah, I'll play like that actually. Yeah, we didn't mix it.
Let us do the cooking.
They could have a
The Gambalania Open Day ERA Knowledge Competition in the draw for a children's bike. What is uranium? The most dangerous mineral on Earth with a half-life of 250,000 years. How much will Jabiluka contribute to Australia's GDP? How much for your mother? How much has Ranger spent on environment research and management today? All the answers are on the board. Some of them are lacking a few zeros in their estimates of how long it will take before Ranger Mine isn't a problem. So, yeah, we'll see if I get the bike.
But there's another 18 months of construction to happen here before it starts.
How long do you guarantee your tailings dam will survive for?
I think it's got an engineering life of 10,000 years.
And what other human structure has lasted 10,000 years?
The tailings dam at the end of it, over here, if you have a look over here, sir, this tailings dam here, this is what we're putting it in, okay? This is when we're mining out Ranger number 1. So what we're doing is moving this tailings dam from here, the tailings from here, into pit number 1 here, okay? So this structure here, so putting it in there, with the water, like a slurry, then drying it out, and then putting a cap of waste rock on top of that. Similar to what's happened at Narbalek. Have you heard of Narbalek mine? Yeah. Okay. So so then this structure here will be bulldozed and rehabilitated and contoured into a final landform. That's got the satisfaction of both the traditional owners and also the Commonwealth government, I think. So that's what's happening here at Ranger.
So what will be left in this tailings dam at the end of the mine's life?
So this tailings dam here will be filled in with waste rock and then contoured. The land will be contoured, so it's not just a. So it'll have some kind of a contouring effect to it.
How are you going to make these pits non-porous?
My understanding is that what they'll do is to where any water that's coming in there, the water table doesn't move particularly much in these areas here, is to put a clay lining on where the water's coming in, I think. But again, please ask Eris about that because they're the environmental scientists know more than what I will.
Are you familiar with the Marinduque tailings dam disaster in the Philippines?
No, but we're here to talk about ARA.
In November 1996, on the Filipino island of Negros, after 2 days of exceptionally heavy rains, the tailings dam of Mirrar Mining Company collapsed. This disaster was not unique. 2 years previously, the Filipino island of Marinduque was devastated by a similar tailings dam disaster, which destroyed the ecology of the island's major river system. 2 directors of the Canadian mining company involved were arrested as they fled the country.
River from the...
Anong kinabukasan ang naghihintay sa inyo? Ang dalita ay tadhanang hatid ng krus at espada.
We're in Sapale now. We've been talking to the local community who have told us that they're concerned about the prospects of molecular mining tailing dam collapsing. As you can see, a dam has collapsed 5 days ago and the entire agricultural area is covered in contaminated tailings. The dam that is potentially going to collapse with ongoing rain is Tailings Dam 3, which is just in front of us here. And as you can see, entire farming communities live just below the dam.
Ang dalit ay bagyot baha, mga lindol at tagtuyo. Mga anak ng dalitasan kayo. Hanggang saan
In myself, I feel I cannot express what I want to do for this kind of government we have, because how many years already that we are waiting for their assistance that the tailing ponds will be stop operation in that mines. Still they are putting their waste there in that tailing pond, and this is the time we are afraid every night we can sleep.
People are saying now that we have to leave the place now. The river is currently overflowing, the two rivers, big rivers. And after a few minutes, we might not have a place to pass. So we have to leave right now.
ang dalit ay damdamit, pagkataong dinudusta. Ang dalit ay mga batang nagbubungkal ng basura. Mga balo at kulilang pinagawa.
Energy Resources of Australia claims this tailings dam, made of crushed rock and radioactive mine waste, constructed in the high rainfall tropical floodplains of Kakadu National Park, will outlast the pyramids of Egypt, the Roman Empire, and in fact the entire recorded history of Western civilization. The social, political and climatic stability needed to guarantee the physical maintenance and integrity of this radioactive waste mountain cannot be guaranteed over the 200,000-year life period during which the radioactive isotopes contained within will remain deadly to life.
We've got nothing to hide. In fact, there's a lot for them to learn because we're world experts here in terms of handling mining in national parks in tropical wetlands. We do have a conscience. We're determined to combine preservation with progress and to make sure that our activities do not have any impact on the national park and also respect Aboriginal wishes. The strategists in the Green movement and the activist movement who are advising the traditional owner have told her not to cooperate with ERA.
Norths Limited, parent company of ERA, specialises in the exploitation of nature. It is the largest wood chipper of native hardwood forests in Australia, exporting over 3 million tonnes of native eucalypt forest per year. Norths Limited is an environmental pariah.
And now they're saying they've had no benefit from the mine. In fact, it's had negative impact on their community and on the environment, their country that they live in, which is so precious to them. They live there, they live in a traditional way there, or they're trying to, but with the negative impacts of what Ranger has had, they don't want Ranger anymore, and particularly they don't want Jabiluka to even start. And it's going ahead without all the official approvals, environmental approvals, having happened yet, and it's going ahead despite them saying no to it.
Okay. UNESCO. Okay. I just didn't want to be recorded. I can ask that.
And then
No,
take
one
this,
side, one side.
take the thick top bit, not the two flaps, leave them.
Under, on top of
Take
those?
the thick bit down.
Right, there's a butterfly already. It's confusing at this time of night.
Like make sure it's kind of straight and flat and stuff. And then fold it like that
Hang on.
so it stays. And there's your butterfly.
Wait. What happened after this? Marcus, that's not a butterfly.
What happened after? This is a fat man. Come to sun yourself.
Okay, so everyone's up to this point.
Yeah, up there. How do you do that?
We're making the cranes for Hiroshima Day in the tradition of that story about the woman who got radiation sickness from the Hiroshima bomb, and she had to make 1,000 cranes so she could have a wish or something like that before she died, and she ended up dying before she made 1,000 cranes. But then all of her friends and all the people in the ward chipped in and made 1,000 cranes and floated them down the river or something like that.
Oh, it's not quite as impressive.
Come on, big cat.
I think we like
all these nuclear weapons, and we can move into style, and we're going to read a story and have a moment of silence to respect all those people that died from what was made that we're making right here. Insane, hey?
Yeah, today's Hiroshima Day, and in about 10 minutes is the timing of the dropping of the bomb 53 years ago on a city. Today's Hiroshima Day all across Australia is from Hiroshima to Jabiluka, from Jabiluka to Hiroshima, from the beginning of the nuclear cycle to the end. This is where it all begins. This is where it's all going to stop.
Sort of solemnity of the occasion. I think we just want to be silent for the last length of the road.
Another thing that hit me from being at Muraroa, because I was treated physically very violently by the military, was that physical human violence, like at least I could understand in some form, but the whole issue of being around radiation is that you don't know what's happening to you. And that was really, really hard to live with, and it's been hard to live with ever since. And a lot of the people there, they're in exactly the same situation with Mirrar, in that they're fighting and they're fighting and fighting and fighting, and they haven't got a choice, and they can't walk away from their country, and we can't either really at this stage now either. So yeah, but one thing I realised out of that was they can't kill your spirit, which is a good thing.
We never give up.
the Mirrar people are still going to fight.
Jabiluka to me represents three very strong, no doubt it represents thousands, but to me I'm really concerned on three levels, not just the irradiation and uranium mining, but the sacredness of World Heritage listing, let alone its sacredness to Aboriginals here, but the sacredness of even having such legislation. It's like we uphold the laws and criminalise people for not upholding unjust laws in many cases, and yet I think that we are allowing a violation of what is good in our society, and I think this sort of violation that's being primed and manipulated and oiled and greased by multinationalism is duping us all, and we're falling for an erosion of our future for a short-term small bite at a cherry that ultimately seems to leave us with the stone and unknown, faceless conglomeration of money-hungry people that get the flesh.
I'm walking on tomorrow, and I'll be exercising my right for civil disobedience. It might be a law which stops us from crossing that line, but according to Mirrar people law, we are quite entitled to be on that land.
Can the drivers who are taking their cars all please gather at the information tent? Thank you. 6 o'clock.
Have you enjoyed Kakadu National Park?
Well, this is only our second day here, actually. We arrived yesterday from Darwin.
Are you aware that the traditional owners of this land have said no to uranium mining here?
Well, I think they have a right to make a comment if seeing it's their land, but it's all a matter of compensation, isn't it?
Yeah, you think they deserve to be compensated if the mine does go ahead?
Yes, I do.
Do you think most people in Australia would take that attitude?
No, I don't think so. I think there's a division.
Who's going to help everyone now?
Why do you think it's divided?
Well, don't know how to answer that question.
Any level of ionising radiation can cause genetic damage, which can lead to an increase in congenital birth defects and cancer, usually leukemia, in the children of those exposed. Death from low levels is much slower, usually in the form of cancer, which can arise many years after exposure.
How's it going, mate?
Good.
What's your name?
Peter Vaughan.
Peter Vaughan. Where are you from, Peter?
News Unlimited.
News Unlimited. News
Unlimited.
Unlimited. Where's that?
On the second charge of criminal damage.
Guilty!
On the third charge of failure to cease loiter.
Guilty! Sentence! We want sentence!
Yes, my fine man. I therefore find Energy Resources of Australia guilty on all charges. Go on, brothers and sisters of peace and justice. Bring down this villainous tyrant.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, before we go any further, if I could have your attention, the gentleman to the right of me wishes to address you as a group.
Okay, to whom it may concern, I'm a delegated representative of the lawful occupier of this lease. As such, I now direct you to leave this lease immediately.
You're guilty. Thank you.
Open the gate because we're going to walk through.
I also advise you now, after receiving that direction from the delegate of the lawful occupier, that if you do come onto this lease and refuse to leave when requested, you will be arrested for the trespass after direction to leave.
The People's Court of Australia has found Energy Resources of Australia guilty of the following charges: willful trespass, failure to cease loitering, conduct endangering life, land theft, contravention of the United Nations Treaty for the Prevention of Weapons of Mass Destruction. This eviction notice is effective immediately on the 10th of August 1998 and is carried out in solidarity with the Mirrar.
ERA the criminals! We have our new passport.
Go away! ERA! 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 Go away! ERA!
You're going to leave this land? You're going to leave? No? Are you going to leave? Yes.
Go away! ERA! 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 Go away!
Any comment?
Stop Jabiluka Mine!
We have tried to deliver the eviction notice to ERA.
Will you leave? I'll leave.
You'll leave? You're going, are you?
Stop Jabiluka!
Thank you.
Stop Jabiluka Mine! Stop Jabiluka!
If you walk back onto the lease again, you'll be arrested, sir.
You have no intergenerational responsibility! Stop the waste! Stop the war! Stop uranium at the source! Stop the waste! Stop the war! Stop the war! Stop uranium at the source! Stop the wedding rights! Land rights! Stop money! Land rights!
Canada, in solidarity with the Mirrar people and with the majority of Australians. That's why I'm here. It's an honour.
What do you think of a uranium mine in the national park?
I think it's disgusting. It's beyond words. We went to deliver our eviction notice to ERA that they're unwelcome on this land, on this lease site. The fact that the police are calling us trespassers is a joke and a complete injustice.
I left Sydney on the about the 20th of March.
What time?
Morning,
And
I think.
you're now departing Jabiru 5:20 on the
9th, is it? Nagasaki Day.
5.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I've been trying to get out of
We're
here
only
all
going down to
day. Too many people to say goodbyes to. Yeah.
Coming back?
Maybe. Maybe not.
Did you stop the mine?
We'll see. Maybe. Maybe not.
We're going to stop Jabiluka.
I'm gonna try and pretend that I've got a normal life. That's what I'm trying to do. That I'm normal and sane.
As I said before, this has been one of the most significantly life-changing experiences, and every minute of my time up here has been amazing, and I'm really glad that I'm leaving.
Walk right onto that track. Walk right onto that track. While we're running amok. to the Radio Shack. Jack, go to the Radio Shack. When you finish that